Plateau the Beautiful, Plateau home of peace and tourism. Plateau looks like the Europe of Nigeria. Everybody wants to be here. It is a miniature Nigeria. Every other person wants to come for holidays here, to come and settle here, to invest here and stay here. And people live like one family.
I almost shedded tears when I just tried to reflect what Jos was before the crisis. Even up to date, if I meet people outside and where are you from? I'm from Jos, they say, oh, where I wanted building my retirement house, where I really want. I've never been to Jos, but I just want somebody to buy land for me so that's where I intended to retire after service. And that's how people looked at Jos then.
A lokacin da aka yi crisis a nan a Jos, na rasa ƙannena wanda muke ciki ɗaya ma, na zo na rasa family na da yawa, an ƙona mana gidajenmu da yawa da yake ƙauye. Duk 'yan uwanmu wasu an kashe su, wasu kuma sun rasa dukiyansu da yawa. Dan gaskiya lokacin kan mun yi asarar rai da dukiya.
My daughter's house, after being married for about 9 months, everything got lost.
It was a bad experience for me because my family house was burnt. We left without nothing. We were left without nothing, and we had to start from the scratch.
The first crisis started around 1994. Well, it happened briefly and some relative peace was attained until 2001 when a major crisis broke, and it continued for a very long time. When that happened, the whole trust system was lost. The various religious and tribal groups could not trust themselves. People had to live in different clusters. You will find the Hausas, the Muslims living in one, some other clusters, the Christians living in another. People fear to go to visit even their friends and relatives who are in the other cluster. There was a breakdown of trust.
It was a Christian-dominated area, Tina Junction to be precise. During the crisis, we moved from Tina Junction down to Gangare with the help of my uncle.
Ba zo na lafiya ba, zan ji an kashe mutum 10, an kashe mutum 20, an kashe gari guda, kamar na Dogon Nahawa nan, uncountable, ba san ko mutum na ne ma sun mutu a lokacin.
So I had no plans whatsoever to start this initiative. However, the 2010 Dogon Nahawa massacre basically just changed everything. I was sort of pulled into it, and we've always just tried to play safe and not get involved at all, you know. But this time around, it was coming close home, you know, less than 5 miles to where I live. And so the Christian women in the city had a kind of expectation because they came to my house and they were like, what are we going to do about this?
Dogon Nahawa was genocide. So I always tell people, say, look, what happened in Dogon Nahawa it's not an issue of crisis. It was a genocide that people were killed and hacked over the night. It was something that up till date, nobody can give a concrete report, reason who, how, why, when. It's something that I expected that the international community could have done something on the issue of Dogon Nahawa, because it was completely wiped. People killed, nobody could defend. And for 500 people, about 500 people to be killed through the night, and nobody was there to rescue, to help, or to do anything. No security, nothing. And in the heart of Jos, because Dogon Nahawa in Duhia is still part of Jos, and for something to happen through the night and no security, nothing, well, it's something that one doesn't want to recount what really happened. But to me, Dogon Nahawa issue was an act of genocide.
Lokacin da an yi Dogon Nahawa crisis din nan, mun haɗa kai, ta tara mu har mun je za mu ga gwamna, mun yi procession zuwa government house.
Well, we really came out when we had all these crises, the protracted kind of crisis, when you have a lot of casualties. And then especially when we had the Muslims really had a problem, and then secondly the Christians also had the Dogon Nahawa issue. In fact, where women, a lot of women were killed, a lot of people were killed. So we thank God they started something. Then later on they discovered that they can't do it alone. Not all, Christians, it has to be interfaith. So she went out looking for us, because some of us have also platforms like Federation of Muslim Women Association.
My husband actually challenged us, because we would meet for like 3 days and cry and go, and kept on meeting like that. And the third day he said, "Is that all you women are going to do, meet and cry and then go?" And we said, "Well, what can we do? We're women." And he just challenged us. He said, "No, don't say you're women. There's something you can do." So then we turned to each other and we started talking. It's like, okay, what can we do? And then the first suggestion was, okay, let's write a petition to the government. Let's do a march. Let's go and help the survivors in Dogon Nahawa and see how we can help them, and so on and so forth. The first one was the march. When we had that march, it was made up of basically all Christian women. And less than a week after we had the march, we noticed the Muslim women also had a march. I reached out to the lady who led the Muslim march. It was on my 4th attempt that she responded to me. And according to her, that it was bad enough to have to talk to me as a Christian, but she heard I was a pastor. So she didn't want to show you the extent of what existed in Jos at that time. And it was the same feeling also from the Christians, So I met her and I said to her, well, I don't think we are each other's enemies. I think somebody's knocking our heads together, basically just for politics. And politics translates to resources and the control of resources. So it's just for their own selfish aim. They don't really care about the people, And so after a while, she agreed. She came together, she came on board. She brought the Muslim women. I came, I brought the Christian women. We sat down and talked. And then out of that discussion, we drew up a work plan on how can we stop our children from being foot soldiers? And how can we stop the killings? And that's how we came together and started working as Women Without Walls. And what that meant basically was we're pulling down the walls of religion. And we're coming together as mothers, as sisters, to contribute our own quota, no matter how small it is, to stop the killings. We just wanted to stop the killings, that's all.
If we are targeting conflict resolution, we should target the youth, get something doing for them, get them engaged meaningfully. Let them be part of the consultations in the peace process, so that we can at least mitigate the effect of the youth weighing into crisis.
Coming to religion, this is a complete worst part of it. You see, I met Christianity on this earth, and I decided to be a Christian with nobody's advice. And so also my brother can decide to choose his faith without asking my consent. That is his faith, and that is where he wants to belong, and that is what he believes. And nobody fight for God. Nobody fight for God. And religion, we do it for God. We don't do it for human.
Saƙon da nake wa youth a matsayina na mai anguwa shine na ƙasa ma gaba ɗaya. na anguwa ta farko, na Jos, na local government, na Plateau, na Najeriya gaba daya, ina kiran youth dan Allah cewa su ne kashin bayan rayuwa. Idan su youth suna da matsayi, suna da muhimmanci a rayuwa ta ƙasa, don haka ina kiran su cewa dan Allah su rungumi zaman lafiya, domin zaman lafiyan nan babu abin da ya kai shi.
Women have important role, very, very key role when it comes to peace building, talking to their wards, talking to their husbands, because most of their husbands are community leaders, opinion leaders, you know. So when they be able to talk to them in the room, they'll be able to understand.
If the society would recognize the important role of women and let them play that role. And the reason being that basically men think about hard power, military power. Oh, there's something going on. Okay, bring the soldiers, bring the police. That's all they think about. But a woman would think about, why is this boy going to the street to kill? What is his problem? A woman can sit down and talk to him.
I have seen women that have not gone to school, but their impact is beyond their states, is even international. So continue, let her not be discouraged, let her be focused and do the right thing. What she thinks is right, let her pursue it. She has a lot to do in the community. The community is there so vast for every woman to give her own contribution. We can save so many lives. We can avert so many violence when we are active.
And we are working hand on hand with the security to see that peace come back from everywhere that we are having problem with it.
And that's why, you know, you cannot underestimate the role of women in peace building. It's vital, it's important, it's accepted all over the world, and it's high time our government and our people realize that importance and let the women play that role. Otherwise, on their own, believe me honestly, they may not be able to have that peace. If they have the peace, it's an enforced peace. It's a peace by force and by military might or power, you know. But, I mean, you are forced, so in your heart, you are not really at peace. How long would it last? So I think if we're talking about sustainable peace, women have to be involved.